That's not a motorboat. Hey, everybody. Thank you very much. Welcome back to the Cali Current Podcast. We hope you're doing excellent today. We're here with Ish, your host.
And your co-host Grimace, and along here we got the
We have the big jersey, and we have the secret. Well, we still have the secret.
Yo, it's your boy Big Jersey on the mic. The secret with the secret guest next to me.
Secret guest as well. Yeah, exactly.
Yo, what's up, folks?
So today we're talking about things that sort of motivate young children. We want to talk about how I work with autistic children, or actually any type of children that are special necessities, special needs. Right now, I'm on hiatus because right now they're on vacation. I don't technically go back until the 11th of August.
There's
but
summer
at the same
vacation
time,
right now, so you're off on summer vacation.
Yeah, but I mean, well, the agency that I work with wants to basically lowball the crap out of me, and they want to pay me $21 an hour, which is minimum wage here in the state of California. And it's like I could work at McDonald's for $21 an hour, so I don't know if I want to go back.
Quick question, man.
Yeah.
I'm gonna cut you off, but
Yeah.
since you work with kids with autism, let's talk about this theory that I've been having, right?
Okay.
Do you think autism is happening more nowadays than it was back then? Because back in the day, I felt like especially if you grew up Hispanic, right? I felt like there was no room for you to be shy. You go to a you go to a family party, you can't sit there and be quiet. You can't not the Leon, but I can't. They force you.
They force them. Ve a saludar tus tíos.
Go say hi to all of them. Go say hi to this.
Yes.
Nowadays, I feel like parents don't do that anymore.
Oh,
They don't.
Yeah.
You know, because like back then, it's like they push the kids to you know what I mean. Back then, like people like back then in our time, it's like.
Say their comfort zone, their little comfort bubble.
Well, it's not comfort zone. It's the fact that you have to be respectable towards your elders.
No, it's not even that. It is that. But it's more the fact, like, even if you were, like, let's just say an introvert, you didn't like to talk, or if you were autistic back in the day, parents didn't really give a fuck. You'd be like, no, dude, go say hi to them, go say hi to them, go say this. Oh, you want this? Well, go ask them. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like that's why I feel like autism now is a big thing, because parents kind of accept it more and kind of like, let it slide. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, you know, it makes more stuff. They're like, it's okay. He's autistic. He can't talk, or he's autistic. He's too shy, or, you know.
There's two words for that. It's called social anxiety. And the kids have it, but yeah, the parents technically force these children to interact more with their elders, hence family members or in general. It's more prevalent now because of the fact that it's, I guess it's what we eat, it's what we consume, it's what is in whatever, everything that we consume in terms of, society. So yeah, I mean.
No, but I don't think that's the issue. I don't think the issue is what's in the food or what's in this and this. I think the issue is like, I think they're just babying. They're babying those new kids coming up. So it's more like
Yes, that's true.
Instead of forcing them to be like to get out of their comfort zone, right? Or to get out of change, because nobody likes change, right? Or change is the most uncomfortable thing. You know, we're not used to saying hi to everybody. You're like, why?
Yeah.
You're not going to be going out there, months, but just.
Okay, so the way I see it is that the parent's becoming the child and the child's becoming the parent.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I feel like that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. I feel like.
Okay, to put it short, yes.
But I feel like the parents nowadays, they're not pushing their kids to get out of their comfort zone, to be like, hey, dude, like, you know what I mean? It's okay for you to feel uncomfort. That's okay to feel. You know what I mean? Change. That's okay to feel. Everything is inedible.
There's nothing wrong with that because my brother is doing it to my nephews. My brother has a 20-year-old and his daughter just turned 18 and she's literally going to go off to college soon. My nephew has already been off to college for a year already. He's going to start his second year in college, and it's like, well, they don't interact for crap. It's like they have their headphones on or their earbuds or whatever you want to call them. And it's like all they do is ignore people all day, including family members. So it's too easy for these kids to just grow up naturally, like not socialized.
I mean, not socialized or socialized, that is a big difference. I mean, the good thing is that they're able to be more, I would say, good with programs and computers. They'll be able to operate basic functions.
No, for sure. I feel like that we are progressing as with like the younger generation, but I feel like we also are losing common communication where kids can't even go up and talk to anybody because they're too shy, or kids can't even go to this because they're too shy. Which is like, bro, that's the wrong way.
So they're becoming mini hackers. Basically, they don't want to associate with society in general, and not to put it bluntly, but they're just trying to hack the system because that's all they want to do is just make sure that they can program everything to their needs.
No, yeah. Even when I was watching Channel 5 News during my lunch break, they put out a statistic. I don't know what the source was, but they put out a statistic that 18 to 25-year-old males like are not comfortable approaching a female. And I was like, what the heck? So what do they do?
With a lot of the
I was like, they're just stuck on like,
social media is probably a big thing
yeah,
nowadays, right? A lot of kids
it like hinders them.
via text, via message, via
Well-
not directly.
It sort of started with I'm not saying Gen Zers. It started with millennials because I have a nephew who's about 31 actually. He turned 31 this year. He can't even approach a female because he's like so terrified of saying anything that's going to embarrass him or that's going to make him feel awkward about it.
But see, even in that sense, that's a whole different playing field. Just because, like, for myself, exactly, right? It's like I'm a very good talker, bro. I find if it comes to work or if it comes to like even to just socialize with anybody, I'm very good at doing that, bro. I can talk to anybody. That's not the issue. I can go talk about whatever. It doesn't matter to me, right? To do that. But when it comes to talking to a female, I don't know why, but that's where I struggle with. Even if it's just to go say hi, I think they're pretty, or this and this. It could be more of like the rejection side. Maybe I'm scared to get rejected, or maybe I don't want to deal with that cringe of a rejection thing. That could be my biggest downfall. But at the same time, what I'm telling you is it's not as easy as people make it seem to go talk to these girls, especially nowadays, how these females are nowadays, at least. It's not that easy, bro. And then also, you also gotta think about it too. It's like, there's also like, people are always recording. There's people, everybody has phones nowadays. So a lot of people are scared to do that because they don't want to get recorded and be put on blast or something like that, because that happens a lot, bro. You know what I mean?
I think, okay, I don't blame you. But at the same time, I don't chastise you because of the fact that myself, when I was growing up around 18 or 21 or whatever, and I wanted to talk to a female, it's not that people had phones back then. It's because their friends were out and about and around that one girl that they were ready to criticize you and basically tell you to F off or whatever because, you weren't her type or whatever. But, a lot of these females were just being protective of their friends. Is because they had no reason to, and I get that. But nowadays, yeah, it's easier for somebody. I mean, look, the way I see it is like I drive around a lot of people in terms of my rideshare company, and they talk about the things that go on. It's like they make it so easy for females to just say yes to everything nowadays. I get that you have the standard fear of just talking to females, but in reality, females are just basically giving themselves away nowadays.
Well, it's not that I'm scared to talk to females. That's not the issue, because I do have a lot of like homegirls, and these are like pretty ass females. You know what I mean?
Nice.
But my thing is, it's like more where it's like going up to random females. Like obviously, like if we're like in a group of friends, and one of the homies brings like one of the homegirls brings her homegirl, that's not hard for me to go talk to because she's already part of the group.
Yeah, but I think that's just a standard fear of everybody between your age, between 18 and 25. I was petrified actually, talking to females between 18 and 25. Well, it's not that. I mean, I get it. You have to get to a certain age where you mature, in terms of your way of thinking.
I think for me, my biggest downfall was back in the day when at least in my 20s, bro. I was always big. So like back in the day, I weighed about more than like in the 400s, bro. I was in the 400s, like right. So like my shirt wise was 5XL, pants was like size 52. You know what I mean? I was a big dude. I think that's why I was more self-conscious.
But yeah, of course.
I was more self-conscious at that point. But
we did speak about that on a previous episode where women, if you exude confidence, they're going to be more, it's like a pheromone. They're going to be more attracted to that. If you exude like, whatever, insecurity.
You're scared, you're shy.
Yeah, they're going to be like, oh, no, screw this guy. He's not assertive or whatever the case may be. And that was our word of the day last time, I think, on the last podcast. It was assertiveness. Assertive.
I think to your point, when it comes to situations like that when men are trying to talk to women, we have to understand that also men's value increases with their age too. I think they have to be more stabilized. You know, they have to be able to be more financially stable for girls to pique an interest, right? Because they're looking for somebody that can take care of them, or or in different situations, maybe be there for them, right? But when it comes to the younger guys, you're not gonna be able to maybe impress a female your age with a minimum wage job, right?
Yeah.
Well, women are always attracted to older men, and that's just a proven fact. Period.
It's a proven fact. I didn't know.
It's not that they're attracted to older men, bro. I feel like the real issue is that like they're attracted to the
Definitely.
lifestyle they can get from this dude.
Maybe
So it's like why would it's like, for example, right? If you had a girl, right, you have a wife, right? Your wife, she's cool, she's not the rich for this, she can't provide whatever you want, but she's still cool, right? Compared to a girl that you meet, and she's not like, and this girl can be like, hey, let's go to Paris for the weekend. Hey, let's go ride on our yacht. Hey, this and this. A lot of females nowadays like, well, let me choose up, let me go to this and this, which is the wrong idea because a lot of females don't know. But those type of guys, they're just looking for one thing, bro. They got the money. It's like, hey, let me just fucking try to pull these girls in and just try. And that's literally what's. But that's why I think a lot of the issues with a lot of females is like they expect a lot from a lot of guys, but they don't know the reality of it. And it's also social media where I feel like that also has a lot to do with it as well, because I feel like that pulls like social media makes like a picture of how you're supposed to be or how this couple is or this and all this stuff. Where it's like, no, bro.
Yeah, social media has ruined it for a lot of females in general. Because why? Because I literally was just on a dating app like not even a year ago. And it's like females were like looking for maturity. They wanted me to have my own home. They wanted me to be all, secure in my own self. And it's like, okay, well, I'm like, you're living with your dad, but you want me to have this security that you want me to provide. Well, what does that say about you that you're a certain age and you can't even provide for yourself or whatever the case may be? It's a double standard, it's a double-edged sword.
It is. No, and that's the issue. Is like I feel like people do kind of like, at least, or no, let's just say people in general. 'Cause I feel like guys do expect this from some girls as well. It's like I feel like they expect. I don't know. It's weird. I feel like they expect them to provide everything for them. There's guys that I met where it's like they expect girls to do this, and vice versa. There's girls that I've hung out with my homegirls, and they expect guys to be doing this and this. When in reality, it's like, hold on, bro. It's like, why would I? For me personally, like, why would I? If I just met a girl, why would I want to do the most for them or one up them or treat them like a queen? Where it's like, hold on, bro. I don't even know you like that. This is the first time we're hanging out. Let's go out to dinner. I'll pay for your dinner, this and this. And if that day goes well, cool. Throughout the line, I don't mind buying you flowers. I don't mind doing this, but I have to feel the vibe in the beginning. A lot of girls, they want to go all out, want a 5-star restaurant, this from the beginning. I said, bro, I don't even know you like that. To be treating you like to be giving that type of treatment.
I'm a married person. I've been married for 9 years already. And my wife actually expects that out of me because she knows that,
That's marriage.
No, but I'm saying,
Compared to going on a first date with the girl that you.
but I'm thinking that
females in general have that idea. As soon as they turn 18, it's like something clicks in their mind saying, oh, well, I want a guy that's going to do this, that, and the other or whatever for me. And that's what they expect. And that's the problem. That's the flaw of society.
See, that's my thing. Like, if I'm married to a woman, for sure, bro, you can, my female, she's gonna get all that. If I can provide it for her, let's do it. I got you. You're my twin flame. I got you. If I'm married to you, and this,
Yeah.
That makes sense. Yeah.
I'm not backing away. I'm just saying that it's expected.
No, that's the wrong idea, though, bro. And that's what I'm saying. That goes back to all the girls where you meet on a first date and they expect this type of. Why do you expect this? Who are you to think that you expect? For me, expect, you know what I mean? Like the thing is,
I want to date in 15 years, so I
well,
wouldn't
that's what
know.
I'm telling you. Because I'm single. And
It's a different time now.
Well, that's
I think females are just giving their sexuality away. It's too easy because guys nowadays, that's all they expect. And it's like females is like, oh, well, yeah, sure, whatever. You can have whatever you want as long as I get what I want. But that's just my feeling about it. That's just my opinion about it. Grimace, sorry, what do you think about it? Mystery Guest, what do you think about it? Yeah, Mystery Guest, come on, don't be shy.
I think the relationships nowadays are more complicated because people are more independent as they've developed and kind of warmed up, for lack of a better word, right? They're more dependent and they kind of go out and get what they want. You know what I mean? But I think that men have to understand that when they're young, they're not going to get the pick of the litter. You know, unfortunately, it's just not how it works. You know, when you're a little older, when you're a little bit more stable, you could choose, you know, who you want to be with and who you want to date. I think when you're a little younger and you're starting to date, you know, you kind of settle for who, you know, and I would even say, you know, maybe young folks shouldn't have long-term girlfriends. You know, explore your options, date various type of people, and understand, you know, the different type of women that are out there, and then make a decision of who you want to be with. I don't think you have to make that decision early in your young life.
Okay, I can vouch for that statement because I waited until I was 35 when I first started dating my wife. And the only reason why I actually chose to start dating her is because I didn't have adult relationships. The last time I had a girlfriend when I was 16, and then I started dating different women, you know, whatever, you know, I started messing around and whatever, you know, whatever, if you want to plow in other fields, if that's how you want to put it. But it's like, I knew that I found the one in my wife because I knew that she's the one that I saw myself with. And it's like, I didn't see myself with all these females that were easy and stuff like that. And I guess that's when you have to sort of mature in a lot of ways, is because you're right. You know, nowadays it's a different society. And it's like, you know, when men and women think differently, you know, or whatever, boys and girls. That's how I put it.
But I do feel like nowadays, at least I don't know, for me at least, maybe if I'm in my 30s and shit, whatever. But I do honestly feel like a lot of people settle. Because there's people who I work with, right? And these are not trusty, bro. I'm not trying to sound, you know, pause or whatever.
Damn, put them
Yeah,
down.
so, you know, all my roommates and guys I hang out with, it's like they're handsome dudes. You know what I mean? I'm like, okay, these supposed to probably pull some baddies. And then when I see their wives, I'm like, damn, bro, it just looks like you settle, which is cool. If you're in love and that's what you want, cool, for sure. You know, it's a myth. But at the same time, it's like, for me personally, I feel like I'm not going to settle. You know, I'm not saying that I want to.
I mean,
It's not about settling sometimes. It's not always about looks. Sometimes it's also about like what they bring as far as character, as far as responsibility, or maybe even they're bringing in the bread. But yes, that's why I'm as a defending that position. Yeah, it's not always about looks, because I mean I pull some badass baddies, but then when you're with them, it's just like sometimes
It's like talking a bag of rocks or something.
You have to get somebody that's going to contribute to your lifestyle.
Yeah, because sometimes when they're fine as F, they know it, and then they're like, you know what? They expect to be treated like royalty, like nonstop, which that's how the world treats them. And it's like, you know what? That's crazy.
And that's the wrong, and for me, that's the wrong way. When it comes to female, bro, it's like, I don't care if you're pretty, I don't care if you're bad, if you're bad.
Yeah.
To me personally, it doesn't matter.
You gotta be a good person.
For me personally, it's like, dude, there could be a baddie. I think she's bomb as fuck, and this. But it's, if her personality, if she's stuck where she thinks she's a shit because she's the bad in this and this, that brings her down so much. You know what I mean? And that's where I see a lot of guys where it's like I see men with their girls, and I see how the girls are. I'm like, bro, why are you settling for this, bro? Like, you're really gonna settle for someone that's being like this? Like, you know what I mean? Like, she's not even all that type thing, you know? So that's why I feel but also it's not just girls, it's not just guys, it's also girls too. Girls, I see girls with like their significant others, you know what I mean? I'm like, damn, bro, really? Like, this is what you chose, this is what you want. Like, you could do a lot more better. You could find someone a lot more better, you know?
Okay, well, it's a great thing you all three of you are speaking on that, actually, the way of thinking it, because I didn't think I was crap about anything or whatever. I dated a lot of single moms when I was younger. Like I said, I didn't get with my wife until I was 35, but I didn't think I was anything at all. I didn't think I was S. I didn't think of myself as a good-looking person or whatever the case may have been. But okay, I didn't settle for my wife, but I knew what I wanted in my wife, that's why I chose her. But at the same time, it's like after I got separated from her, and after I started realizing that I could have had, or I could have, or I did sort of in a way bag all these baddies, how you guys want to put it. It's like I knew my worth. It's like I didn't know what I was worth until I got with my wife, because I like dated a lot of single females that had kids or whatever the case may be, and I didn't think that my worth was all that great and my value. But when I got my wife and whatever, and she got a little bit older and I got a little bit more technically handsome, and even girls said straight out, "Oh, you're a handsome guy," or whatever the case may have been. But I never thought of it myself. But it's like, okay, I know what I could provide. I know what I can. But my wife didn't know that until, she realized that she's going to lose me, and the case may have been. And then it's like,
some pretty not so good celebrity men have some of the most beautiful women out there. I don't think it's always the male look necessarily. I think it's a success. I think it's
Confidence.
that's
Confidence, the motivation, the drive.
Yeah, but I didn't know I had all
winning
that until
characteristics,
I
like
got
being
separated from my
driven.
wife, because I've been separated for almost 4 years.
comes with age, right? I think that comes
Yeah,
Yeah, well, it comes with maturity.
and maturity comes with age, right? 'Cause
Correct.
when you're a little older, like as a man, you got to understand that's when you can offer a little bit more. So I don't know, to quote a great man that used to be on radio, Tom Likas, he used to say, like a lot of relationships that older men have with younger women, it's not based on necessarily. Look at Bill Belichick. He has a great,
Yeah.
Half his age.
I think
Yeah.
he's literally married to her, isn't he?
24. Not to name drop. I mean, he's
He might-
greatly successful in the NFL, and he's earned everything he's had. But part of that success got him that opportunity.
It wasn't part of the success. It was all the success.
He might be
He's the
literally
most
married.
winningest coach in the history of the NFL.
But see, and that's
Besides
and, that,
Lambo.
and that to me is like
Sorry, not Lambo, but
that to me is lame, bro. 'Cause it's like, I don't know. Like to me, it's like because for me too, bro, it's like throughout my 20s, like I said, I was more bigger, so I was never talking to girls. Even when I moved to California, I knew I was a little more slimmer, but I was still a little shy, right? Until I talked to my homegirl and I was telling her all this shit, like, maybe I have an issue talking to girls because this and this or whatever, this and this. And when she got told me, it really stuck to me to this day. She was like, "Look, dude, you still think you're in your ugly boy phase," which in her
Your homegirl in Washington or your homegirl here in California?
homegirl here, she's a pretty ass girl.
Okay.
So
But there's a big difference between Washington baddies and California baddies, which is like 5-point difference.
that's what I'm saying though. It's like when I moved out here, I thought, damn, I don't stand a chance. That's why I felt, right? Until she told me that, like, look, bro, you still feel like you're on your ugly boy face. Meaning, like, you still feel like you're still on one beat, but you still feel you're not big. You're not like that. You're slimmer. You're handsome. This and this. You're hella charismatic. You're hella cool. You're funny. This and this. You know what I mean? That's what I'm telling you. That's where I started to notice it more, and I was like, you know what? I started talking to these females.
It comes down to one word: exude. EXUDE, and that's the word of the day right there. Exude.
Exude.
EXUDE, meaning that you're putting it out there in the universe, that you exude confidence, you exude whatever you want to put it out there.
That means you embrace it and you're showing it.
Correct,
Like,
and that's the word of the day right there.
I would
So
like
yeah,
to
but I think that's what happened to you when you first started getting here, Jersey. Is that when you got here to California, you started exuding it, and females, women, whatever, girls, they noticed it, and that's what they liked, and that's what I think they are attracted to, because it's like a pheromone you put out in the world, in the universe, and they're like automatically attracted to it. I learned this the hard way, and recently, like I said, when I was separated with my wife, I exuded confidence, and some females hate it because they know that you could get possibly somebody better than them, and it's like they're gonna do everything they can to stop it.
Damn. Well, that seems a little atrocious.
But see, at that point, it's like that's not really your significant other. It's like at that point, they're trying to get you back if they realize what they had. At that point, it's like, bro, like now you want me back, but before you weren't appreciating what I brought to the table. So now, because now you see it, now I should forgive you and let it slide. Like, because for me personally, bro, I'm all about respect. You know what I mean? And if a girl wants to say some sly shit to me and try to say like some shit like that's like. You know what I mean? Like, where she tries to say, like, oh, well, I can find someone better or this and this. For me, I'm like, okay, cool, then go, bro. Then go. Because for me, like I said, for us as guys, bro, it's a lot more challenging for us to go spit game or pull a girl than it is for a girl. A girl can go and, like, just show her cleavage and go show her ass and can pull any guy.
Yeah.
A girl.
Yeah,
will
between
pull
a
guy
0 and a
faster.
10, basically. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So for me, it's like, because also what I've noticed too, bro, is like a lot of girls that I've talked to, that I've hung out with, they all sit here and they say they want like that princess treatment, right? Like, give me flowers, open my door, this and this.
Mm-hmm.
But I've been on the other side where I've done that for females, and I've gotten stood up, I've got my plans canceled, I've got this and all this. And what females don't understand is like when I'm sitting here and I bought them flowers already, and I did all this to go hang out, this and this, and they cancel on me. It's like, bro, you're at this point, you're not.
I think they're just doing it to test you in a lot of ways because they want to see what you're willing to do for them, and it's like it's just a game to them because they know they can manipulate, control, and
Yeah, and that's the game, bro. And that's the thing is that if you're gonna play, let's play today. You know what I mean? If you want to play. But when shit gets real, don't try to back out. You know what I mean? Like if it's just getting too real for you, don't try to back out. You want to play. So that's what I see. That's what I see when it comes to talking to girls or spitting game. Like, you know what I mean? It's like, okay, let's play that. You want to play? Let's play. Let's
Yeah.
play this. You know what I mean?
I get that.
You know what I mean? But if you want to start like a pussy later on, it's like, all right, then why are you playing this game? You know what I mean? If you can't hang. You know what I mean? Like that's just how I see it. You know, I just kind of like have to like simplify and kind of make people understand. It's like, they want to be part of the game. They want to, they think that they're, this and this and all this shit, but at the end of the day, it's like they're not. They don't
Okay,
do something
so-
that comes with it.
we got to get another perspective because I'm the only one that's married in this. Basically, actually, the mystery guest is also married, or he's with his long time, I don't know, significant other. I don't know what the situation is there because he hasn't made it abundantly clear. But what do you have to bring to this convo?
I think somebody that you end up being with, you want to make sure they add value to you as a person, right? They don't need to complete you. They don't need to.
But when you're on your downfall, you want them to pick you up.
I think always you want to make sure that whoever you're with and whoever you decide to be a couple with makes you a better person, and you make them a better person too, because it goes both ways, right? I think sometimes you could have toxic traits yourself that might bring some people down.
Yeah.
But I think that in general, as long as you're improving who they are as a person, you're improving yourself as a person, and kind of understand that nobody makes a person better or worse, right? Somebody can add value to you or take value from you, right? That's the way you guys got to think about it. If you have a girlfriend or somebody that you're with, boyfriend, whatever your situation is, they need to make you a better person, and you need to make them a better person. And I think that goes a long way for you young folks. First of all, you young folks probably shouldn't be having boyfriends and girlfriends really long term.
This is why I waited until I was 35 to have an adult relationship.
You guys got to explore what's out there. You guys got to see how life really is, and kind of make decisions based on that. So explore different types of people and make decisions when you're a little older.
Know what you want until you're 100% positive of that's what you want. That's what we're trying to actually explain.
But at the same time, you guys are saying this, but people, the thing that you guys understand is we can keep telling these kids like this and this, all this stuff, right? But at the end of the day, they have to be the one to go through this type of experience so that way they can really learn, you know what I mean? Because how many times have you guys had older homies or older friends or OGs or whatever trying to tell you, like, trying to put you on game or trying to explain something to you, and you take it through one ear, not the other, but when you actually do it and you go through it, that's when you're like, holy shit.
Okay, well, I can speak about what you just mentioned through experience because my older brother, 2 years older than I am, and we went to the same junior high. He had his first child at 16, and then my twin brother, who's basically only 20 minutes older than myself, he had his first child as well at 16 years old. So that sort of deterred me from either one dating to having premarital relations or whatever, having premature, whatever, before I was 18, relations with females. And 3, that also deterred me from having a relationship in general because I wasn't going to know what to do because I didn't want to get a girl pregnant at 16, 17, 18. I know, and I thought I found my soulmate when I was 18. I mean, I thought I knew her all my life because we grew up together technically, but she didn't want the same things I wanted, and I wanted kids at a certain time. But it turns out I couldn't have kids myself. So it's like, it's never what you want. It's what has to happen in your life so you can learn the lessons of being a person that's going to live in this world.
And that kind of sounds as if you're settling, though.
Yeah.
But
That's
it's
kinda
not.
why
It's
you're
not because I
settling.
was settling. Well, it does. You're right because I wanted to be with the girl that I grew up with when
You
I
gotta
was
play the
5 years
cards.
old.
You gotta play the cards that you're dealt. I mean, to the maximum, because you can only change so much in this world.
No, most definitely. And I think as well too, I think you as a person, you have to know what you bring to the table, who you are, and how, you know what I mean? And like basically I said, like what you bring to the table because not everybody deserves that. You know what I mean? Not everybody deserves like for me personally, right? I know I'm a funny ass dude. I'm very charismatic. I can talk to anybody, this and this, right? But why am I going to show a female that's treating me like shit or not even the time of day? Why should I give her that privilege when there's other females that would enjoy that? You know what I mean? And also, what you guys have to also understand, I mean, this now and the special guest, you guys have been out of the game since fuck.
I've been out of the game for 15 years already. 13, 12 actually.
What I'm saying is, you guys don't understand how the game is now, bro. The game, how it is now, it's a lot more harder, dog. It's a lot, for me personally, it's a lot more harder.
It's a lot harder because I know for certain that females, it doesn't matter what age, between I guess 18 and 35, they don't want to settle down. They just want to keep the party going on until whatever their heart's content.
I wouldn't say the party's going on. I think everybody knows that we are all made in like amazingness. So females are always looking for the best, and they always are on the lookout for something better. That's why the ones that do settle, they're always on low key on the lookout for something better. And the ones that don't settle, because they don't want to get settled down, they're always like thinking, well, I could do better. I could do better. And wish they could.
But why are they settling, right? Like, controversial subject, right? But just you young men that are out there and the young guys that are dating in the world, just understand what your worth is and understand what situation you're getting into, right?
Right.
When this is always controversial, right? When you're dating somebody that's a single mom, their priority is going to always be their child. So don't go into a relationship thinking that you're going to become the priority just because you're dating them.
Yeah.
You will become secondary always. As
Damn.
I have my wife that has my children, like obviously I always want them to prioritize our kids over anybody else that's in their life if for some reason we weren't together. But for you young guys, don't go into a relationship with a woman that has children and think that you're going to become the number one priority in their life, because you'll never be that person.
Yeah, I'll tell you guys from personal experience. I tried that. I tried to talk to a female that has a kid, and at first it was all good. I was all for it. I was like, cool, this and this, she's cool, this and whatever, right? But until we went out to go eat, and she brought her daughter with us, and her daughter ended up like kind of like walking off, and I kind of like, oh no, come here.
Oh, damn.
How old was she?
She was like 2 years old.
Okay.
So she comes back, she holds my hand, and we're walking, and in that moment, I start to realize, I was like, I'm not ready to be a stepdad. This is not what I want. Just
Okay.
It's like for me personally, bro, it's like I still love to party. I still love to go to raves. I still love to go to shows.
You could have been a good example for her.
Well, it's a different time too, because when I was growing up, you guys got to understand, you guys are like 10 or 15 years younger than I am. When I grew up and I dated single moms or whatever, all the females at that time or in that era, all they wanted was a good time, because they wanted to get away from their daily routine of their kids and this, that, and the other. It's not like that anymore. Females nowadays, it's like they want something serious because they're looking for a replacement for what they lost. And that's the way I think it's happening now. And it's not the same as it was 20 years ago, because I love dating single moms. It's like they were fun. They were, whatever. They all they cared about is just, having a good time, and they're not going to get their kids involved. And it's not like that anymore. It's a different era.
But that's the thing, though, is you're looking at it as more as like, okay, I just want to smash the mom and this and this.
No. But that's the thing. But that was 15 years plus, though. But it's not like that anymore, because I got tired of dating single moms because I didn't want to be a baby daddy. You're right.
You're saying that, and you're saying that at your time, right? But for me, how I grew up is my mom had 4 older siblings, and I have 4 older siblings, and their dad passed away, and my dad stepped in and brought it and took care of 4 kids. You know what I mean? And was their stepdad. That's also for me. It's like I could do that too. I could be a stepdad. I could do that because I see my dad do it. Anybody, you know what I mean? Any man can do it.
Okay.
It takes a real man to do that, and I commend your dad for that, because not a lot of men want to take that mantle.
No, well, definitely. But also, what I'm telling you is, for a lot of men nowadays too, it also sucks, because if you're with a girl, if you're with a girl that has a kid, right, and you and that kid have a very good, like, a good relationship, you guys, go this and this, where you're starting to see him as your son. If you guys were to break up, you have no rights to go see the dude.
Yeah, he's another ninja.
You know what I mean? You don't have that rights no more. And that's the part that you're a bad thing.
Okay, look.
You're preparing yourself for that. That's good.
You're investing your time in this family that you're trying to build with the girl and her kid, right?
But that's
So you're becoming cool with the kid, you're becoming cool with the mom, but then now you break up and now you.
But there's also a flip side to that where I was used to dating single moms or whatever, not because they were too easy to get in bed or anything like that, but because one time I was dating a single mom in 2007, and it's like she didn't want nothing to do with me or whatever because she was the slut or whatever. I don't know, the local slut. She probably got pregnant and she probably wanted to fool me that I was the dad because, I don't know if I've ever always been sterile, but she wanted me because she knew I was going to be responsible to take care of that kid instead of her being the local slut and messing around with the other guys that weren't going to take their responsibility. But at the same time, it's like, well, when I wanted to be serious with her, she basically told me to F off because it's like, oh, well, whatever, she's not attracted to me physically or whatever the case may have been.
But I think to Martin's point, if you try to build a relationship with an already existing family, right? And that's what it is, just an already existing family. That most of the time, or some of the time, those kids, or 100% of the time, those kids have a dad.
Yeah.
Right. So you have to understand that you're stepping into something that's already built.
Yeah.
So as long as you understand that that's already in progress and you're not going to be the priority, and I think every family wants to have that Cinderella family, right?
Yeah.
Where you have mom, dad, kids together. So as long as you go into it understanding that that's the case and go into it understanding that shit might not work out, and you're right, you definitely don't have any rights to those kids.
Yeah.
And sometimes the mom won't let you discipline them or raise them or intervene with them because X, Y, Z.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? So,
Okay, but that also comes with the territory where females, if they were just messing around or whatever the case may have been, and if they ever got pregnant, and if it wasn't by me or by somebody else, and they would have never given me the privilege of saying, "Oh, look, well, I'm gonna make sure that you're the dad. I'm gonna give you the privilege over anybody else." But it's like it's hard to say because I know. For me, for most of my life, I've possibly been sterile all my life, ever since I was a kid or whatever. I just didn't realize it until, females didn't want to be with me, which is fine by me because, I don't want to have a kid out there knowing that full well that child belongs to me. I wouldn't want that.
if Martin came into a situation, right, where his dad took ownership of somebody else's child, that takes.
And it's 4 kids, bro. It's not just one. It's 4 that he's running. No, but see the thing.
No, normally.
The thing that's different though is like with the mom and dad, they had an understanding. Whereas like my dad never passed that boundaries to discipline them because they're not his kids, and they would make him know that that's not their dad. So what he would do, my dad would be like, he would tell my mom, and my mom would build a discipline towards them because they never had a dad to really be the tough part. You know what I mean? Like they never had that. So my mom had to step up. My dad respected my dad respected them, and as you know what I mean, as kids and talked to them, treated them nice and everything like that. And throughout the whole time, bro, I'm not gonna say it was all peaches and creams. I've seen how they treated my dad, or how they would talk about my dad and this, all the shit they would say and all this stuff. It's kind of like, damn, bro, you're saying me stuff about my dad that took you guys in, and also took in my mom. I'm not saying that my mom was a hustler. No, my mom made her own money. She was out there jugging, making her own little funds and making her own little thing. That was her thing, right? But also my dad, for someone to just come into a family that has 4 kids where the kids don't even like it like that, that's hard, bro. And my dad did that. So the fact that I've seen it done, and he can do it, anybody can do it, bro. Just like the same fact that like there's females out here complaining about that they want a guy to sit there and take care of their kids and all this shit, whatever, right? That to me is too, because it's like, bro, I grew up with 3 older siblings, and they were all single moms, and they all made it on their own without their baby daddy's help. So I'm like, if you guys sitting here this and this, like you guys are just making that as an excuse, you know what I mean? If they can do it, and they came up from the bottom, bro, where they didn't have nothing, and they had to figure it out on their own, and they had to make all this type of stuff, and they made it, anybody can do it, bro. Like, you know what I mean? So for me, when people say that, I think that's just like, bro, that's lame, that's to me, it's just an excuse.
Just to kind of contradict that,
Yeah, I agree.
Because I think women do a great job trying to be a single parent. Sometimes it's difficult for them. They're the ones that have to raise the children.
Yeah.
And it's easy for a guy to step out and be that father figure. But I think if a man's willing to come into your life and be that father figure for your kids, just understand that if you're raising a young boy, they need a man to teach them how to be a man. And you want to do a great job taking care of your kids and doing what you need to do to make sure they're raised correctly. But just understand, like, just like I don't think any man can raise a daughter and give them all the tools necessarily to be a woman because we don't know everything, right? But I would say for some of those relationships and couples that are strained or trying to figure it out, work with each other. Because at the end of the day, you guys trying to hurt each other, and the only people that are getting hurt are the kids. So if you have a dad that's willing to be part of your child's life, let them. Like even if you're upset about them cheating or being with somebody else or whatever the fuck happened between your relationship didn't work out, if they're willing to be a part of your child's life, let them 100%, 50-50, whatever it takes, because it goes a long way. And it's gonna matter for your kids when they get a little bit.
Yeah, and like for me personally, I've seen it with my whole family where you know what I mean. I have a nephew who didn't grow up with a dad, but had his mom, and his mom would just spoil him. And I think the reason why she would do is because she felt bad because he was the only boy, and his dad was in jail, this and this, you know. So she very much spoiled him, and she did, you know, she spoiled him, and she never really laid down the discipline on him. Never really had like that manpower, like a man to be there to be like, hey, dude, this is going to, you know. So that dude grew up and now he's in jail and all this shit because like I said, I do feel like because he didn't have that father figure there to kind of teach him and kind of lay down the law, this and this, and that's what a lot of single mothers don't understand nowadays. And they want to be like they want to treat their baby daddies as you know like shit because they don't know like I've seen videos, I've seen people even I have personal friends who their baby mamas, they do the most for them not to be able to see them, for them not to be in their life. And I have, you know what I mean? And they want to be in their kid's life, you know what I mean? And that kind of sucks because they don't understand the damage that they're you know the burden that they're putting onto their kids because the kids as kids, bro, you see all that shit, bro. You see all that shit, and maybe you forget some of it, but majority of the time you don't forget, bro. You remember that shit, and I think that's how trauma passes on to the next generation because they see that it was okay that their parents did that. So fuck it, they could do it to the next person too, and that's the wrong way to do it, bro. You know what I mean? I feel like if you go into a relationship and if you have your issue with your ex or whatever, you should never bring that on to the next person because one, they're not the same person. Two, it's not their problem. You know what I mean? You got to treat them as a new person, no matter what issue you have with your ex. The next person coming up, it's not their fault. They didn't do nothing about it. You know what I mean?
Well, it's probably newfound research because, yeah, clearly I don't think any parent raising their seed wants to be able to provide less. Everyone, as soon as they have the information that you have, everyone's going to try their best to give it their best. But yeah, certainly if you get stuck involved with trying to provide for them, which most people, I think that's where the majority of the people's downfall. I would say the majority because there's some that just don't give a F. But the majority of people, they're trying to constantly work. So could they be able to afford all the crap that the kid wants, whether it be a new shoe, new basketball.
It takes some ownership for the men, though. You got to step up because if you're not, you know, we're all grown. If you're having relations without protection and you're doing the deed and you create a child, you're responsible for them.
Yeah, you have to be. Yeah.
You know, there's too many kids out here with one parent households and. You know, they need support too, and you know, when they're growing up and going through life, they need to make sure that they're supported.
You can't always blame it on the man either because a lot of females want to lock out their men for whatever reasons.
And that rights too, though.
Correct. I know that.
Too. You got
But-
to work. You have
but
to
you-
proper steps.
You don't have to tell me twice. You have to tell these females that just think that they could do it all on their own. And if a boy or a male needs their father, tell these females that that's the case. Because trust me, I work with kids and it's like I see a lot of single moms or whatever. And they're like, oh, I don't need a man. I don't need this. I don't need that. And it's like they do it to themselves. They shoot themselves in the foot, figuratively speaking, because it's like, oh well, a man doesn't need to raise my child because I'm strong enough. I'm a strong woman. I could do whatever I want. I don't have to listen to a man. And that's where it comes in. The I guess the feminism.
Yeah, for sure. And I think boys that are raised, oh man, this is controversial as heck. But boys that are raised in a woman household, not that they're softer. I think they're more emotionally intelligent and they might be more in touch with their emotions, right? So I think it's because the way women raise their boys, they're more, they get in touch with their feelings.
More soft.
Us men sometimes, to a fault, we might be overly rough, right? I mean, for raising boys, in my experience, has been where I'm not as emotionally cultivating than my wife is. She's more, she understands and tries to sit there and tries to have a conversation with them. I'm more like, shut up and listen type of guy. It is what it is. Like, I want you to do this, do it. And I don't think that's always right? So some of that is residual from our old school parents raising us and the old school way of how we were taught. And to be honest, I think new generational parents are becoming better at that. And they're understanding how boys kind of, we're in touch with our feelings to an extent. And we kind of try to understand where your kids are coming from and trying to help them out, developing but some of the most shit comes out of this as well.
But see, and that's where I'll step in, because for me, I grew up in a household full of females. Like I said, I grew up with four sisters and one brother. And my brother ended up being gay, so like, there was also like he's also feminine as well, right? But for me, it's like, yeah, I had my dad. My dad was always in my life, but at the same time, my dad was more of a dude. He just worked his ass off and came home and wanted to rest. He wasn't really sure. Like, he taught me how to be a man, but not really. Like, for me, it's like. But also, I do appreciate being grown up with females, because now I can talk. I can explain myself. If something's going on, I know what to ask. You know what I mean? Like, it's like if I'm having an argument with somebody, right? Or if somebody's having an argument with me. For me, I don't like to argue. For me, if you want to sit here and talk, let's have a discussion, bro. Let's discuss this shit. As grown-ups, let's discuss it. And for me, growing up, that's how I've learned. I've always been the type of person that let's talk this out. Or what's the issue? What did I do to piss you off? Or what can I do to not do that again? But a lot of people don't know how to communicate. And I think that's the biggest issue. And I think that's why a lot of relationships get in.
Well, that's a Hispanic thing altogether.
I don't think it's a Hispanic thing. I think it's just in general in any race, because a lot of the old school parents, doesn't matter if they're black, white, Asian, or whatever, they grew up harder. They grew up harder. They grew up to that time, especially Asian people and black people. You know what I mean? They grew up to that fucking hard time. I'm not saying just them, Mexicans as well, and every other race as well, right? But we all grew up to those hard times where it's like, like, you know what I mean? Like, we have to understand it. So for me, like I said, I did grow up with more women. So for me, it's like, yeah, like I'm very good. One thing I appreciate from that list, from me growing up with them, is like, I'm very good at arguing. I'm very good at like sitting there and really listening and trying to understand. I'm very good at putting myself in their shoes type thing. And that for me is like, I do appreciate that's why I do appreciate working with women. And also too, it's like I also appreciate women a lot on a different level type thing. Be like, okay, you're sitting here complaining about this, but I grew up with women that didn't have nothing and they made it up. So there's really no excuse for you to be doing.
Well, I mean, according to your words, I could say the same thing about myself, because I only had 4 brothers growing up. I didn't have any sisters. I had nieces, yes. That was until I was 16, 17. But I can empathize with females because, honestly, I've been more closer to females. Hence, I grew up closer to my mom than I did with my dad. Even at this point, it's like I communicate more with my mom. And it's like, well, I can empathize more with her because, I don't know, we maybe had the same struggles. And she being the only female in the household, it's like I sort of agree or understand why it was hard for her to raise 4 or 5 boys. And she was the only female in the house. And it's like, we're rougher on the edges, me and my brothers, and we always fought a lot. And my dad we always had quarrels or whatever. But not only that, my parents, well, they always argued about BS or whatever. And it's like my parents, my dad, being basically, old school from the old country, from Mexico, he has his certain ideas. he hasn't changed to this day. He's never gonna change. You know, he's already 72. He's never gonna be. He's never gonna look at the world differently. He always wants it his way or no way at all. And it's like, you know, even to this day, he hasn't changed.
See, I think that's the issue, though. It's like I think that we don't think that they can change, but I've seen it happen with my own parents, where my mom grew up with machismo man, and she was always a woman. My mom and dad have never been the person to tell you that they love you, but their actions was tell you that they love you type thing. You know what I mean? Like they never were very vocal about their emotions or whatever, say anything that they love.
Or my parents.
You know, they would also what they would do for us, that would show us that like that they love us. You know what I mean? The actions speak louder than the words.
Exactly, yeah.
So for me, it's like growing like it's like thing, bro. Like I grew up closer to my mom. Me and my mom, that's to me, my mom's my best friend. And like I said, if any of my siblings like, you know, make her cry or anything, I always defend her, I always have her back, and this and this. But the reason why for me is because for me, my dad was always more harder on me than my mom was. You know what I mean? My mom was more softer, more like she showed me she showed me.
He was more compassionate.
Yeah, she showed me unconditional love, right? And that at the time I never really appreciated it until now. Now, not now, but like now in life, I start to appreciate that because to get unconditional love, bro, that's so hard. Not everybody can give you unconditional love. Somebody can sit here and say that they love you and they're there for you, but when something happens, they're not there. So that for me, that's why I appreciate people who are actually there, who really are about their word. Because it's like you're doing that out of the love of your heart. You're not doing it just to, you know, make yourself feel better. You know?
Yeah, that's true. This is a different era. I mean, it's with nobody's to blame. I mean, we're not saying that somebody is, but it's just different times that we're growing up in. And I guess the younger generations, like the Gen Zers, or in general, like the millennials, their way of thinking is sort of a little bit more prioritized because of the way that society, hence social networking, is trying to basically shape their minds.
I think, yeah, I agree, Sure. I think part of it too is that with social media, everybody's important, right? I think you create a page and you have so many followers, you're considered a mini celebrity, right? I don't think that was the case back when we were growing up, and I think that's what kind of is the difference between some of our younger generations are. We baby them, right? I mean, we're in a participation trophy type of society where we give a participation trophy just for short.
Right. Yeah.
Back when I was growing up, either you were first, second, or third, or you were asked out. That was it. There was no trophy, there was no medal, there was sometimes even some of the triplets we joined, those first place, and that was it. Maybe an honorable mention, and that was it. But you know, to talk to Jersey, like you were saying that I think part of our society too is doing better than what your parents did, you know. So I think some of our parents, you know, they probably did better than what their parents did, and their parents probably did better than what their parents did, because they do come from an old school culture where.
Well, yeah, to a certain extent, but when the kids acting like little S or little S bag or whatever, they don't get disciplined.
Like radicalized little children.
So let's say you go to the store and this kid starts basically throwing everything in the store down to the ground, and the mom doesn't discipline because discipline is like
I'll tell you that. I'll tell you
old fashioned. It's like, well, okay, well, why is the kid doing whatever the heck he wants?
Well, just tell
who's the
mom,
parent
like,
and who's the adult?
Tell that mom, calm your child. It's crazy.
Yeah, okay, but there's videos on YouTube that show that the little kid's in a little S, and the mom still lets them do whatever the heck he wants.
I will say that doesn't start at the store though. That starts while they at home.
Yeah.
But correct. But there's this video. So there's this video on YouTube that I recently saw where this, and not because it has to do a generational thing or a racial thing or anything like that. This black mom basically goes into this store, and this kid, her child, just throws everything in the restaurant. And it's like the mom doesn't say anything to him. But then when the manager comes over and the manager says to the mom, "Why aren't you saying or doing anything about it?" And it's like the mom's like, "Oh, well, he could do whatever the heck he wants." What do we do then, you know?
I think that comes to what you were talking about earlier, is with autism and stuff. I think nowadays, what we're still.
But it's not autism. It's a blatant disregard of rules, societal disciplines.
I think the reason why nowadays, why it's more of a bigger thing and why we're noticing it more is because we have social media, we have cell phones. Back in the day, You know what I mean? You never saw these rich kids and how they treated their parents. What did you see? You saw it on like on MTV and stuff like that, right? How these rich kids, how these rich, this 316, how they talk to their parents like that. As Mexicans, you think our parents will ever let us lie or something like that? No, bro. So I feel like that's been going on for a while now. But I feel like now it's more seen because of social media, because there is stuff, but because if you are recording, you will see that. You know, so I feel like that's why it's more out there, you know?
More accountable now, because yeah, everyone has a cell phone nowadays.
Exactly.
Okay, so
It's not good. So that's why I feel like that's why I do kind of feel like nowadays well, going back to what you were saying about how this new generation is a little more softer than this. I don't think it's that we're softer. I think what it actually is, I think it's like we're learning from our parents, from you guys, from all you guys. We're learning from you guys and the mistakes and how you guys work, and we're trying to change that. Obviously, it's some of it is going a little too far. They're being a little too sensitive.
No, I don't think it's you guys learning from our mistakes, because who the heck rolls out of bed and in their sweats goes to school like, oh well, let me just throw some deodorant and not shower, but I'm gonna go to school in my sweats because that's what I slept in, or whatever, in their pajamas and this, that, and the other. It's like, have some decency, have a little bit of pride in your look, have a little pride in your, oh well, I have to look at least decent to look good in society.
At that level, they probably don't care.
But nowadays, bro, what I'm telling you is like to get famous or to be rich, you don't have to go to school no more. And that's where these kids are picking up. Think about it. You went to school, right? You graduated.
But no.
Wait, listen. You got your education, right?
But I don't believe in
Right.
college. I've never cared about college.
High school. We're talking about high school. We're not talking about college.
I had to finish high school.
Exactly.
I didn't want to, but I had to.
Okay, but what I'm telling you is you finished it, right? And do you ever use anything you learned in high school for your everyday job?
No, because I think it's bull BS to learn
Physical
calculus
education.
1 or 2 in your senior year. We're never going to use calculus. What am I going to do? Cure mathematician cancer or something?
That is what I'm telling you. That's why the new kids, this new generation, they're starting to see that the school is just bull, that they're not going to use it. And that's why they're trying to, a lot of kids are trying to get more Instagram.
Okay.
Social.
I think it boils down to one thing. These kids, especially from the millennials forward or Gen Zers, they ask the question, why? Why do I have to do this? Why do I have to do that? Why do I have to listen to you? Why do I have to be disciplined? Why do I have to be a person that's disciplined whatsoever? That's the problem that we have, because we allow this to happen. It's not that we let it happen, and we allow it to happen. That's just my opinion about it.
I think we give them children an opportunity to grow in our society, and I think it's just how we're raising our kids. We're trying to. I think everybody thinks that their kid is the best ever in the world, and I think that's where we kind of come from. And
And I think that falls back to us not getting that from our parents. And I think that's why nowadays, the parents nowadays, that's why I think that goes back to us, because as when we were younger, we never got that from our parents. So I feel like now that we have kids, we know what that feels like. So now, yeah, we would like to, you know what I mean? We'd like to make them feel like, hey, I'm proud of you. Hey, I love you. Hey, you know what? You did a good job. Hey, you know what, though? You didn't win.
Yeah, but there's nothing wrong with that, because I never got that from my parents. If I would have got that growing up, I would have finished college. I mean, I didn't get my college paid for. I didn't get any grants, or I get any. But my point is that, yeah, it's a different society, yes, because we're more, I guess, sensitive towards our kids or our whatever peers under us feelings or whatever.
Well, that's what I'm saying. You're sitting here saying that you didn't get that if you would.
I'm not saying that I didn't get it. I got it from my mom. I didn't get it from my dad.
What I'm saying is that you're here sitting here saying if you did get it, that you would have been to college, you would have done this, right? That's why nowadays the parents are.
I started working when I was 13, and I never asked anything from anybody, not even from my parents.
But that's big, and that's the wrong way of doing it, bro. Like for the mystic, for our mystery guest, right? He's there for his kids all the time. He's the one that coaches their team. He's the one to do adults because he shows their kids that he cares. And that a lot of people don't get that from their dad. A lot of people don't get that type of stuff from their dad, that they show that they care or that they're there or this and this. They don't really get that, bro.
Well, they can't always show it, but at the end of the day, as long as they're at least making an intention, because I mean, me being a single person, I've dated a lot of single mothers, a couple single mothers, and I've seen there's been instances when the baby dad is like non-existent, and there have been other instances where they're splitting custody, so we gotta make our schedule match the matching or time of the dad. So it's all about also putting in the work. Like, if they're pieces of poop, maybe they'll like leave everything ready just for someone else to take over. And other times there's all this crap missing and it's not gonna pass, and you basically just have a junk with four wheels that can move. But I mean, that's a gamble of the nature sometimes.
I'm not saying that society is wrong for the way it's raising its kids right now. I'm just saying that parents need to take a little bit more pride in the type of kids, and I'm not saying everybody, I'm saying in general. It's like have a little bit of pride to be a better person or better parent.
But if you look at it nowadays, right? Some of these football players that are coming up, they have both parents nowadays, right? Nowadays they have their parents supporting them, and you see how far they made it, and you see how much better the kids are nowadays playing football compared to back in the day. Yeah, maybe the football rules have changed, but in the day these kids go off. These kids are phenomenal, dude. These kids are beasts. By the time they're in high school, dude, like they're beasts. They know what's up because why? Because they have their parents to push them and support them when they're there for all that. I think that plays a very big part in it too, because a lot of kids, if they go play football and their parents aren't there to support them, they're going to be like, oh, nobody really cares. Who's there for me? So I don't care either. Why should I care if nobody's even here to support me? You know what I mean? So I feel like nowadays, how parents are towards their kid, yes, some of the stuff, yes, they are helping them. They are showing them that they really do care, and that is very important, bro. That is very important to show your kids that you do care, or that you're there for them, or that you're listening to them, or whatever. You know what I mean? That plays a very big part, dog. Because a lot.
But I've always agreed with that though, because I've been working with kids since 2001, when back then it was not the thing, but a lot of these kids grew up in a single parent household. And when the ones that grew up in a two-parent household, they were fine, but at the same time, it's like the single-parent household kids, they still thrived regardless because it was just the sign of the times at that time. Now, yeah, I stopped coaching cross-country and track in 2010, and that was the last time I ever interacted with high school kids. Now, I don't even know what these kids need nowadays, because I don't know. I mean, I wanted to get back into coaching, but I think it's not necessary for me to go back because I don't have to be an influence. And I never was. I'm just saying that it's a different time now, so I wouldn't know how to act or interact or be a part of these kids' lives nowadays. But that's just my opinion about it, because I've been out of the game for, 15 years already.
Well, when you're in a position where you got youngsters looking at you, you better be on your point, because, I mean, everything they're looking at you, and it's best to set a good example. That way, they could live a great and purpose-driven life. That's all I'm saying.
And that's where for me personally, bro, that's where I've noticed myself, where it's like I've noticed like, okay, it's like for example, right? For me growing up, I've never had that outlet. I got that uncle or that older cousin where I could open up to and be cool with this. I never had that. You know what I mean? So for me, what I started doing to at least the younger generation is I started being that outlet for them, to where now they trust me. Where now it's like we can have serious conversations and this and this, and it's not always just me bagging on their parents and like that. No, it's me like trying to understand and trying to have them understand where their parents are coming from as well. And that's why I feel like it's very important to have a very open communication with your kids, and very, you know what I mean, and just listen to them and don't judge them. And even if they open up to you and they try to tell you some shit that happened, don't judge them. Don't try to put them down or this and this, because
well, I think that's more prevalent now because of the fact that it has nothing to do with them going hand in hand. We accept our kids more nowadays because, of the fact that they're transgender or they have gender identity issues or whatever the case may be. But that's another can of worms, and I'm not going to open that.
a whole other thing that.
Yeah, I know that, but I'm just saying everybody's more, trusting nowadays. Well, thank you very much for listening to the Cali Current Podcast. This is your host, H. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, hit that bell notification button.
Hey, your co-host, Grimace, just letting you know, hit that like, share, and subscribe button, baby.
Yeah, don't forget to leave a comment if you have any more comments on this topic. Thank you very much for being here.
It's also your boy Big Jersey on here, special guest.
Big Jersey in the building. Yeah, and our other special guests have left the building.
On here or something. Want me to surprise guests back? Let them know.
Yeah, please let us know in the comment section if you want the special guest or if you want Jersey back in the fold, okay?
Both of them.
Both of them. It doesn't matter which one. If you guys like their commentary, if you guys like what their opinions were about, please don't forget to share it with us. we'll be more than happy to interact with you. Thank you very much again. Have a great evening. Take care, everybody. We love you.
Stay Cali Current.